of Baron or of Vox. And we know from Popeyes, they just dislike going up against Baron and Taka, like we've seen and witnessed from the previous draft.
Actually, we see Sky being banned first. That's something we've seen a lot from quite a lot of
teams out there. Yeah.
Catherine people just like to play Catherine, and as we saw, Sky being such a strong hero anyway, even if you don't necessarily want to play Catherine, that if you just want to ban away Sky, it's not a bad ban by any stretch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sky is a really good hero in 2.6. Not exactly very overpowered, but it's quite a balanced hero, especially if you are going to pick up that Catherine for your own team. Anyways, from Popeyes expected, they are going to be banning out this Baron as the first ban. And, honestly, for Impunity, they have a lot of options open up for them, because since Baron is actually banned out and the side of Popeyes on Aeon, they would actually go for the first pick, Vox. I'm pretty sure of that. The Catherine pickup on the side of Impunity is quite expected, especially with the Sky banned out as the first ban, or rather as the priority ban. Popeyes Aeon on that Vox has shown quite an outstanding play as well. So I'm not surprised if Popeyes actually do opt for that Vox, but then with that Vox being picked up, then of course the side of Impunity might actually just go for the Idris just to take out that Vox. And for the
Yeah, we saw the power of Idris in that last game. Elite 8 brought him out, and even though he hasn't had that much favour when he has been played against a comp where they have a backline hero that's quite squishy, trying to do as much damage as possible, Idris is really good against that. And we have Celeste ban. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe they just don't want to play against Celeste, because we generally have seen them ban Baron and Taka, and instead deciding to ban the Celeste. Maybe they want to pick up Taka. But then again, Taka's a great Celeste counter, so it's more likely they want to go something like a Batiste as a flex pick, and they're actually going to go Lyra, so they're going to save their jungler till last. Glaive not open. I'd love to see the Idris, and I think Batiste could work, but also they could do a CP Kestrel is good into this.
Yep, definitely. I mean, I do understand the Celeste pickup. I mean, Celeste has been quite strong in this particular series so far. I mean, we've witnessed from week 1 throughout to the current week. Celeste has been, for a lot of the games that Celeste has been picked up, there has been quite a lot of win rates coming out from the Celeste. So on the side of Popeyes, we actually do see a Lyra being picked up, and we saw just Lyra is such a strong hero at this point in time. Just heal alone, it kind of out heals and out sustain that from Grace. If you can actually overpower and just snowball Grace into nothingness in the early game, because of just your Imperial Sigil alone, you kind of cap it out at like 600. And as for Grace, although you cap it out at 1004, like you said, with a little bit of crystal power, but even then you still have to wait for a 1.5 channeling time and 1.5 seconds channeling time, and then you risk getting stunned out by that Catherine. So I do understand why Grace isn't picked out, and Lyra is picked out over Grace. We actually do see a Scar being picked out on the side of Impunity. What do you think?
I think that's risky. They're going to go for the Idris, which is very smart. Idris is good if they pick up Taka against that Scarf. Taka's a good Scarf counter, and Idris is quite good against that Alpha. But I think Scarf is a great counter to Grumpjaw, even though we haven't seen any Grumpjaw at all. And Scarf is really good at poking out and can outpoke anyone else, because there isn't Celeste. Celeste and Scarf are very similar in terms of poke. And I think Scarf generally beats out Samuel, and because Celeste is banned, that means that Scarf is probably the best hero at poke that's available for this game. They should counter it with I'd like to see a Koshka trying to beat the early game. I think it really could work, and they are going to pick it up. Yeah, it's risky. It's not the safest decision. The safer decision would have been just go late game, someone like Kestrel, just see, well, you're going to poke, we're going to poke, let's see who wins. But I really like Koshka to beat the Scarf in the early game, and if that doesn't work, bully Idris in the early game, and they can snowball from there.
Yeah, but we've seen Chingy on this Koshka for the first game between Popeyes going up against Infamous, and just Chingy alone on this Koshka is just insane. As long as that Chingy do not go for the Shatterglass build, because that was one of the builds that, you know, I'm highly in favor of. But problem with that build is that it takes so long before you can actually build your Shatterglass. And in fact, if Chingy actually do go for the Heavy Prism first and then go into an Aftershock afterwards, I think that's a cleverer build coming out from the side of Popeyes, especially if you're looking to snowball in the early game. Just looking at the draft coming out from the side of Impunity, we have Catherine, we have Scarf, and we have Idris. All three, or rather, Scarf and Idris both are really late scaling heroes. So you know, the Koshka pickup is really intelligent, and you know, just allowing Vox to farm up for the later game and hindering that of Idris to excel or go into the late game is a really smart pickup. And Koshka just now just have to be really aggressive in the early game, just going into Scarf, because I mean Koshka does really well against Scarf in the early game, especially in the 1v1 in the jungle, as long as Koshka can dodge out all them Spitfires and whatnot, and especially with the healing and the pestering and you know the amount of harassing Lyra can provide in lane for that Vox against this Idris will just hinder Idris even further into going to the late game. So anyways, we are into the folds right now. So casting for this game, we have the awesome and Pani pair, Asurai and Riku. Take it away.
And we will grab it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia Championship. Well, fan championship, actually not championship, finals for this Week 3 Split 1 matchup against Impunity and Popeyes. We didn't really expect them, but let's have a rundown of our players and teams.
Yes, sir. On the blue side, we've got Impunity, we've got Kirchhoff on the Scarf, Port d'Ivoire on the Catherine, and Deft Q on the Idris.
And of course, Popeyes, spinach makes them stronger. It's gonna be Aeon 222 with the Vox, Teza Boy 98 on the Lyra, and Chingy as our Koshka. They're gonna be immediately going for an invade, 3-man invade, rather just looking to contest on this thread. And Chingy immediately leaps on to the first opportunity that he gets. 3-man Chakra to connect, but still Popeyes showing their early game dominance.
Definitely. Knowing that, you know, Koshka already received level 2, she's completed her kit enough for her to go with the aggression. So with Popeyes, I really like what they're doing here. Just as the analyst desk has mentioned, they're the type to, you know, keep on snowballing, and then until Impunity is not able to recover from the game or reach late game, or reach mid to late game, as you know they intend to do so. So Popeyes has used this early game snowball strategy from the previous matches that we have seen earlier, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, they've defeated Infamous. Infamous is the last yesterday's winner for the championship of week number 2. So for Impunity facing Infamous, Popeyes strategy and composition of just keep poking, keep just going all in with all their damage, and with the sustain coming from the Lyra, and just fearing or respecting Chingy on the Koshka. I'm really excited to see how they're gonna adjust through Popeye's strategy.
And strategy indeed, as look, Chingy will be immediately invading 2v1 situation. This guy is looking to be fearless, as he really needs to start creating that immediate snowball right now, as they don't want Impunity to get any traction whatsoever. But Impunity, they know about this weakness. They will at least put Port d'Ivoire on that patrol role, and he will just be rotating around with the Scarf so that they will have that 2v1 situation. But it looks like Popeye will try to go for at least a counter measure here and push them away from Chingy's jungle.
But mission accomplished for Impunity as they try to flank in the Vox, who's solo in lane, but he's going to be A-okay as Aeon 222 just backs away and respect 3 members colliding. But here comes the merciless pursuit. There's the stun, but no follow-ups just yet, as Idris still going to be a little bit hesitant in terms of engages there. Again, the analyst desk has mentioned that they should really respect the damage coming from the side of Popeyes, especially if they go, coincide or clash everybody else in towards the lane.
There's not a lot of damage yet for them to work with, but if you get, consecutively hit by the skill shot of the Scarf, that's still something to be a little bit worried about. Although, looking at it, you can really see how Impunity have respect for that Chingy invade, because Scarf hasn't really, showed too much, showed his face too much in the jungle.
That is true. They're going to be waiting patiently, just ramping up in terms of power. As Chingy has reached level 6, this is definitely the time to hunt for this Kashka from Popeyes. We've seen how painful Chingy is during the first few matches against Infamous. So meanwhile, here comes the engage.
There's going to be an engage. Teza Boy will get caught up, but look, the damage onto DefQ. He has to be a bit careful here as he is very low on HP. Does he have the Glimmer Strike? Actually, no. He is only level 4, so he can't actually go for the invisibility. But he does at least have the Shroud Step for that. Well, at least to be able to blink away from his opponents. But still, that yummy Catnip Frenzy is up and running for, actually not yet 30 seconds, but it was already used. You can saw the damage output connecting onto DefQ a little while back, and Chingy will get connected onto the stun. There's going to be the Spitfire as well as the turret shots. Defensive Bulwark just for the, defensiveness of it, so that Impunity won't go for the push, and that would have been a first blood if Chingy wasn't lucky enough to escape.
That was just too close. I mean, they've got a Catherine to easily punish the aggression coming from the Kashka whenever she dives in too deep, plus the goo, plus all the mobility skills coming from the Idris, so that they can immediately burst someone down. But good thing there's the Lyra for the save. Take note, there's still no arcane passage just yet. The Bulwark as well to deny any sort of impunity. Just keep pursuing or keeping on with the chase. So that was just too close of a call for the side of Popeyes there. I mean, we saw the damage. You gotta respect the burstiness of a Kashka during these first few minutes in the game. As it's an Idris almost dying there under turret. So here's a sneaky play.
Might actually initiate with a stun, because DefQ and Kirchhoff have their ultimates up. Portable still level 5 for the meantime, so no Blast Tremor just yet. I think a Blast Tremor would really help out mitigate this mobility from Chingy. That silence, that AoE silence will be a pretty good opening, pretty good setup for the Dragon's Breath. Although Ward of Wog gets poked down from a little bit, quite at least decently there by Popeyes. There's going to be the dash in, the dive in by Chingy, but he's just going to be wrapping around and looking for a better transition or a better opportunity to just leap into the fight and get a pick off. Is going to be trying to break down this turret, and Impunity will just be happy that they don't die. As Popeyes goes in aggressive, there's going to be the ultimate coming out from Chingy. Defensive maneuvers all across the board, and Chingy almost get taken down. Look at the chase from this Catherine, and look at Impunity turn around back to fight. It's going to be Chingy who actually initiated the fight to be the last man standing, and Impunity come back from that one.
Well played. They were able to burst someone down, despite they've got a little sustain themselves. But I don't think Box has still enough damage to actually finish someone off. Whenever Chingy's damage is just not enough, as Chingy escapes death once again.
Still, as he is trying to escape that death. Well, no, Teza Boy will give him some heals. And Chingy looking to get back into the fight once more. No more Shimmer Strike for this Idris, and Kirchhoff cannot capitalize. He actually did not go for his ultimate, so no Dragon Breath or Dragon Fire setup into the Blast Tremor of the Catherine.
Yeah, this is also the strength of Popeyes' composition, where they can just keep on with the chase. They've got a lot of mobility skills on their hands. They've got the Kashka, they've got the Arcane Passage to catch up. So that's why it's super key for the side of Impunity to secure their escape route, or else they might just get picked off whoever is at the last line of retreat. So that's what happened to the Idris earlier. So meanwhile, again, they can easily punish aggressive plays whenever Chingy goes in with the stun of the Catherine, and as well as whenever Lyra goes in.
Lyra is so out of position, and Teza Boy, Well, oh, he actually baits it out. Good connection with the arcane passage. And there's the ultimate from Chingy. So even though it looked to be a dire situation from Popeyes, Boy able to get back on track. Although Impunity was able to net themselves that one turret. Aeon is hot on the heels here of Kirchhoff's, but they gotta be careful. Connection onto the root here onto Chingy, but Impunity will not be able to capitalize.
I actually thought the Lyra was about to die, but then I remembered, okay, the turret is still pretty healthy. Arcane passage through it. If somebody takes the bait of greed, then that person is gonna suffer. So Idris was, Defkey was the one who managed to, land onto the arcane passage, or actually activated the arcane passage just so that they can secure the kill onto the Lyra, and then great bait made happen there. So that was a turret actually destroyed in exchange of that. It's gonna be a-okay, a kill for a turret for an objective. It's fine. 2-2 for the kill scoreboard. Gold leads slightly in favor of the side of Popeyes, and again, they can afford to make these bait plays because they have a lot of mobility on their side. They've got a lot of safety. They also have a lot of heals as well. So as the game goes, Lyra is just gonna give a ton of more heals. So for Impunity, they gotta make sure they can secure the kill, or else Lyra is just gonna keep pumping up life.
There's a little bit of a ticking time bomb. Shroud Step activated there by Idris. He went in a little bit too over aggressive, but now the one who actually was the recipient of all of that damage will be the Scarf. And well, they were way in opposition. Quarter block could not have body blocked there good enough for the Scarf. Although DefQ might have something to say here, but well, he went down to the fast fury swipes of this Koshka. And, well, the cat leaps, and she will be able to get her nip.
I really thought you were gonna say the cat leaps and the Scarf leaps.
No, that makes no sense.
It makes sense because Scarf is gonna cry when Koshka just leaps into Kirchhoff's. Weep as in cry.
Flips.
Oh wow.
Weeps. Okay.
Weeps. Wow, Asarai. I always get your puns. You should get mine.
Because it sounded so weird. Like it
What?
was
When
like
the cat leaps, the Scarf weeps.
you said fweeps.
No,
with
I
an
did
F.
not.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
All right,
my.
let's get back in the fight. We're gonna be looking for the gold miner here. Although Koshka, man, the cat woman is really doing all that burglar work. See, that's how you do it, son. Get schooled.
Get schooled indeed. Wow. So
Just kidding.
Chingy again with Chingy again earlier, just from the first match that we've witnessed on today's tournament, it's just really so dangerous or crucial whenever she just leaps into a single target. Especially the most crucial target that they could get is Kirchhoff's on the Scarf. As during the early phases of the game, yes, we understand Chingy is so painful, so bursty, and then you follow it up with the Vox and the Lyre just on their faces, and Vox just gonna be able to finish or down the target once they've acquired their once someone is already low. So that's the perfect formula for them, since Port d'Ivoire earlier plus the Idris Defkey wasn't near at all. So they gotta be careful about their escape routes, or else they're just gonna get intercepted, if you will, by Popeyes, especially how mobile their team is.
Yeah, there's just ultimate punishment coming out from Popeyes. One misposition, and they're able to find like that small crack. They're able to just rip it open and have a gaping hole of blackness.
Yes, blackness of
despair, death,
yeah,
agony of impunity.
Yeah, exactly. So for Popeyes, they're just looking for a perfect opportunity, just roaming the jungle, establishing vision, because they can definitely take advantage of, again, the rotations that Impunity has been doing for the past few minutes, because they can easily intercept with the arcane passage. We've seen aggressive arcane passages from a couple of Lyre players, plus Boy, and then there you have it.
Arcane passage, indeed. There is the possible combination with the Koshka as well, but there's gonna be set up with the Dragon's Breath, and he is just chugging it out, although not much capitalization from the Scarf for the meantime, and that'll be a disengage for Impunity and Popeyes, their first non-kill or no-kill setup.
I'm pretty sure Impunity is just gonna respect and just back away from that and give all the objectives to Popeyes, as they have no ults to work with if ever they try to engage these aggressive maneuvers. So for Impunity, they just have to take that and just back away and fight another day. So the gold lead wise, it's definitely in favor of the side of Popeyes. They're definitely happy in this sort of situation. They have been getting the resources of Impunity, as they have to respect the Koshka, or else the Scarf is just definitely going to suffer from that. So with Chingy roaming around the jungle, it's definitely not safe for these 3-man rotations roaming the jungle, finding the hunt or finding the kill, as it is Popeye's jurisdiction to actually do that kind of play, not them.
Yeah, this Catherine isn't really the best protector for Kirchhoff's. Maybe a Grace? I actually can't remember if it was banned out. No, it wasn't. I mean, I'm just saying maybe, but Catherine is almost always a good first pick, safe, good initiations as well. But in this situation, you would really at least want to have that, possible Holy Nova, because it's always been Popeyes diving in and clumping up somewhat, because they have to go through that arcane passage. It would be actually a nice reprieve if ever, they go in aggressive and then you have that Grace. But for now, Impunity have to work with this Catherine. I don't know if he's going to be building up into, or does he have an Echo? Yes, he does. So double Blast Tremor is up and running for Impunity right now. This could be the turnaround that they will be looking for, as both teams have been eyeing this Baron, or rather this Kraken, for a few seconds.
Yes, sir. As Tezaboy, again, you can definitely detect the mindset of Popeyes, because you can see that, the Lyris just charging into the front line will definitely just lead her teammates, or his teammates, Tezaboy rather, into an arcane passage of death, because that's a counter to low mobility, heroes that are quite powerful, or glass cannon heroes, especially like a Scarf. It's easily countered by bursty or dive strategies, especially that you can, even though they don't have the tools like Vox and Vox and the rest of don't have like a dash of some sort, except for Chingy. Actually Vox has, but for you to close that gap for the safety of the back line, it's just really detrimental in their strategy to make this work. So again, Popeyes just lurking around the corner, finding that opportunity, because Impunity obviously respects the space. They're not showing up at all. They're not gonna plan to actually engage just yet, because they know that they're not in the best position just yet.
Yeah, but this is where it kind of gets blurry in terms of position, or rather in team fights, because Impunity, what they want is to fight in these areas wherein they can maximize the damage from the Dragon's Breath of the Scarf, and at the same time, the Scarf kind of becomes an easy target because there's so many walls that he has to, put his back on, and that in a way kind of makes him very vulnerable to the push here of Popeyes. But Popeyes will at least relegate that, or rather deny them that point, and go in for the lane. Aggressive, starts with the Blast Tremor, and there goes a second one as well. Activates a 3-man silence, and look at Chingy taking quite a bit of damage. Defq is going to be going in aggressive. He does at least have that Shimmer Strike, and he will almost activate it. There it is, latches onto the target. Huge damage output coming in from the Dragon's Breath of the Scarf, but still nobody has been taken down just yet. They're doing too much dive here from Popeyes, and Impunity, perfect disengage, perfect baiting, and that will net themselves 2 kills and a possible Kraken to boot. 3 kills could be that point, as the Catherine sets it up with a final merciless pursuit.
Man, Impunity even aiming for the Kraken after that. I feel like Popeyes could have backed away from that, since they're not exactly in a healthy state to actually be fighting in that sort of condition, knowing the
Yeah.
fact that they cannot reach Kirchhoff's anymore, and it was the perfect angle to throw in the Dragon's Breath. So it just hit everybody else, and after that, it was just too late to even try to dive into the Scarf. And they finished everybody else, even got a Kraken out of that. So definitely, you can see Popeyes slowly losing their prime, slowly losing their composition strength into an early game snowball. If you know that Impunity is slowly winning the fights, and this is it, Kraken knocking on their door.
And just if you think about it, though, oh wait, hold that thought. It's gonna be Popeyes trying to defend this second turret. And well, I have a little bit of update for you guys, but later after Impunity will try to finish off this game straight off to the bat. That was too much of a heavy dive from Chingy, and this kitty needs to go back to her litter as well. Impunity have found their dominance and are just barking in front of the base of Popeyes. Can they really get back into this fight? But now there's a Dragon's Bet being set up by Kirchhoff, and look at that. He is just frying them up out of the frying pan and into the fire. That's what Impunity is doing right now to Popeyes. Kraken is still alive, and he is beating down hard onto the last turret. The vein has been exposed, and that might be it. But wait, hold that thought. It is going to be Popeyes able to get back, rather to stave them off as they go in, heal from the HQ, then dive back out. Aeon 222 will be chasing with the Vox, goes in with the Sonic Zoom, but Merciless Pursuit is actually also a pretty good tool to get away from the fight, as it gives you that extra movement speed to, well, just get out of harm's way.
Yeah, the reason why Koshka isn't as aggressive as before, where you can just easily dive into the Scarf, is just that there's so many skills or kits that can deny that sort of aggressive play. I mean, as a Koshka, you definitely want to enter the fight, and after that just exit casually and then just wait for cooldowns and then start over again and get into stacks. But the problem is with that Echo Win, with the double blast tremor,
yeah.
it just puts Koshka in a very awkward position where, am I going to enter the fight? No, or else I might die. I might not be able to escape, and it's going to be an instant 2v3. So with that said, Impunity just are very patient. Even though the Scarf fell once or twice during the early phase of the game, Impunity understood that it is normal, that it is inevitable. But all they have to do is just wait it out, not allow Popeyes to snowball, not allow them to get more objectives. It rewarded them. They got the Kraken, and again, all they did was wait for the Kraken to spawn. They did not push the wave or whatsoever. It's fine. This is the time that they will play around objectives, add more pressure into the map, then eventually maybe Popeyes will, I don't know, get back from this game, or this could be Impunity's game number 1.
Well, Chingy he still has the damage, but the thing is, Cordova is on that point of this game wherein he can actually just be that disabler that Impunity needs to be able to, like you said, get the setups. And Def Q's damage output is nothing to be laughed on about, because his chakrams hurt a lot, as well as, of course, his auto attacks. You gotta be careful in that one. And even if Kirchhoff does get caught, is that really enough time for them to be able to take out the other pretty scary members of Impunity? There's going to be a shift up with the Arcane Passage, and here is the engagement coming from, well, Popeyes. But look at that, Kirchhoff just going in aggressive, and he just charges in, and he takes one down, looks for the second. That's Chingy with very low amounts of HP, and Kirchhoff is just manhandling Popeyes for the moment. The slow onto Aeon 222, and here comes Quartervois, charges it in with the Merciless Pursuit. Does go for the Stormguard as well, baiting out a couple of shots from Aeon. And here comes the second Merciless Pursuit. He wants him so bad.
So bad, as the Vein is exposed as well. They're just running towards the base.
Chase is on.
Yes, let us see though how Aeon is going to fight them off. 2v1. Definitely has 20 seconds on the clock. We'll see if it's going to be enough. They're just ignoring.
Last Tremor. connecting. It's gonna be the scarf though. This is gonna be very close, but still, no, that Vayne's gonna explode. And yeah, game 1 into the hands of Impunity.
Man, that was well played by Impunity, just countering, not allowing too much kills or too much control for the side of Popeyes. They definitely saw the first match against Infamous, and they learned from that. So they definitely just had to have a composition that would just beat their linear style or strategy. So well played by Impunity. Let's see what else Popeyes have to say about when we reach game number 2.